Miami. Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Heat Beat Podcast. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, we have our StreamBeat co-founder, 2K coach, Franky G.
¿Qué hola, Sere?
¿Qué hola, hermano?
Oye,
¿Qué pues?
we got to get into the secret key to the playoffs. Has secretly been my boy Yimi, Caleb Martin.
Caleb was fucking phenomenal. We have a couple things to get into today. Thank you to everybody who comes here on Twitch chat, on twitch.tv/Miami Heat Beat. If you're a pod listener, consider coming through. If you're a YouTube watcher, consider kind of coming through for streams. Follow us here on Twitch so you get a notification every time we go live. Or follow us on Twitter at MIA Heat Beat so that you can see when we go live. We always tweet when we go live and all that good stuff. If you're not following my good man, Franky. Franky, where can people find your Twitter? You tweet bangers all day.
Thank you. It's Franky G _ Franky with a Y.
There we go. So follow him and follow our great cast of MHP members and all that good stuff. Chat's right. Today's episode 420. We're lit today.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We're 9 years in 10 days. 10 days is our 9-year anniversary of a podcast. So pretty exciting. Episode 420. You know we had to do it like this. Couple things before we have some film. Franky and I got some clips to talk about with you guys. Before we get into some clips, let's talk about some of the guys that we don't have clips for because we have some Jimmy, some Bam, all that good stuff. But let's start with Caleb Martin, man, because he came back into the rotation. I think it was understandable why he stopped playing so much, and we're gonna get into all the specific matchup stuffs and all that good stuff because what a fucking huge monster win for the Heat. We know the numbers. If Game 5 winner goes on to win the series 80% of the time, part of that is just because if you're the 5 seed, that means you're the top seed. So, but still, a lot just bodes really well for the Heat. Embiid just fucking complaining, all that stuff. But let's start with funny place to start with Caleb Martin. But that's where we're headed. Franky, I thought it was justifiable that he lost a spot on the rotation. I thought he didn't look athletic enough, and I thought in a series that's do or die, you shorten the rotation and you play your guys. But man, he came in fucking phenomenal on defense. Did a great job on Harden. Just smart basketball player. Deserves all the credit in the world for what he did, and he won't get fanfare.
That's why I kind of wanted to bring him up because he's kind of been one of the unsung heroes for the season. If you watch this team closely, you know how much he brings to the table defensively, in transition, in the half court. He brings a spark and a lot of athleticism that the team doesn't really have. You know, like when you compare them to other contenders, they all have that guy who can run out the gym, can blow by people. They have, Milwaukee has Giannis and Jaylen Brown. There's a lot of really good athletes on other teams, and Bam is that kind of athlete. But Jimmy's an okay athlete. He's not a super every time he goes up for an alley-oop, we're like, oh shit, Jimmy got up there. It's a surprise. It's not really something we're expecting. And they really haven't had that juice. Caleb brings that athleticism, that energy, that feistiness and toughness defensively. He gets a lot of deflections. He can guard up. He can guard small. He fights through screens well. And, justifiably, he was out of the rotation just mostly because he hasn't looked right. It's when he's healthy, he is playing. He got off that 2-way contract because he was so vital to this team, and he raised the ceiling of them. They are not as good a team without Caleb Martin as they are with him. He is just energetic, active. He has a burst getting to the rim. But it's that goddamn Achilles injury that zapped some of his explosiveness and his effectiveness. Really, I mean, I always joke that they switch him with Cody when he looks bad, but it's really just that fucking Achilles injury. He brings so much to the table for them that they can't really get from anyone else.
I'm just laughing because we really just started. They took control of a series against maybe the the opponent the fan base hates the most. I think Heat fans, if you pull them, it's going to be Boston and it's going to be Philly as like most hated teams. And we really opened the show with Caleb Martin's impact off the bench.
But he does bring an impact. Like there's so many games like where they look dead in the water, and you can just feel that they need a little bit of juice.
Caleb played 11 minutes.
But it's
no,
true,
I know.
Bro.
Listen, he deserves credit.
It's crazy. I would like if when the season started, we heard they signed Caleb Martin. We're like, who the fuck is this guy? He's a scrub.
No,
like,
we laughed. We laughed at the.
Like this guy's not important. He is an important part of this team now, and he brings something to the table. Even if in short stints, he brings something to the table. And defensively and transition, like he has good footwork. And if he gets caught, takes a bad angle, he hustles and busts his ass, gets loose balls. Like that shit counts, and that shit is crucial for the rest of this postseason.
Let's talk about the Duncan minutes, because Duncan came back to much fanfare. Honestly, really happy that arena wanted that for him, which is a really cool thing to see. He gets a lot of hate on Twitter, which I think is unfair, and I think that building really was happy for him. That building wanted that first shot to go in. It was actually like pretty cool to experience. I thought it was a little weird that they didn't run anything for him. He got his threes kind of in scramble and in transition. They didn't run a single DHO for him. And they just don't run a ton of that anymore. And I wonder if it's because the switching kind of spooked them out of it, or they just figure, okay, if we just set a screen and Max takes one dribble and goes, and we'll talk about that later, that's just as effective, and we don't need to do it anymore because we have more guys who can dribble. But they just, but I think Miami still leads the postseason in like DHO possessions. So it's not like they never run it, but it was just strange that they just didn't run anything for Duncan. I didn't think he looked bad. I thought he was fine. I thought that he did his job, right? He kind of brings a guy with him. He moves off the ball. He screens. He does all the important stuff. He just didn't really have like a tangible impact where I think many fans kind of expected him to. And in reality, Frankie, he wasn't really needed. You know what I mean? Because like they clearly were getting the shot making that they needed already, and he just kind of came in because they probably had already planned to put him in. So how did you feel about his minutes yesterday?
I thought he was fine. Like you said, like they didn't do anything for him. I thought I mentioned this on the timeline, but when he came in and they got a technical foul, I think it was a 3-second or something. I don't remember what it was, but they had Jimmy shoot it. I was like, Duncan should shoot that. Should have shot that. See the ball go in once. I don't even remember if Jimmy made it. Chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
There was one of them where he missed. I think it was the Doc technical.
Oh, it was the foul before the ball was inbounded.
That was the one he missed.
Yeah, he was the one they get the pick who shoots the ball. I think. I don't remember. There was like a technical or something, and he
pretty sure he missed
Jimmy
the Doc one. I think the one where Doc.
I think that's what it was.
Where Doc got teed up for complaining about the non-call on the Deadman and Embiid thing. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, so do you expect to see him again? How did you feel about that?
I see the Stugatz argument. Throw him in 5 minutes, see if he's got anything going, and then rest him.
That's what they did with Mike Miller, though. Like, I don't think that's like out of Spo's character to do that.
No.
Like they would put Miller in. See, I think which
James Jones too.
Yeah, which was the game that it was Game 5 against the Thunder, and I think Max missed Mike Mix. So many white guys. Damn it. Miller, and the last name's an M too. Miller missed the first one, and Spo was gonna take him out, and Mike's like, just leave me in. And then he hit like the next 4 or whatever. I don't know, whatever the
shout out to Mike. He was at the game last night.
Shout out to Mike. That's a lifer right there. Anybody on those teams is a lifer to me, man. Especially Mike. Even though I called him Max 3 times. It's a lot of the same energy, you know.
Shout out to Terrell Harris.
Remember that game against Atlanta?
Oh, I'll never forget.
Never forget that the Chris Bosh and the others. Those were always my favorites.
Yeah, but it's with Duncan, you know, it's a luxury, honestly, to just have that extra shooting. He already won you one playoff game. If he can, you know, and there will be a moment where they need a 3, and he'll come in and he'll be guarded, and either he has the shot, you know, makes it, misses, whatever, or he can be run as a decoy and get somebody else that open shot. But I just really like having that luxury on the team, and I would love to see him get some chances more so as the season goes on.
I liked him. I'm happy for him. That's some good shit for him. Let's kind of move on to, and I love how we're just doing quick hitters on how we felt on everyone. Because I mean, I think we kind of, there's an established feel about this series now. I think Miami has found something with single coverage against Embiid. They're not switching Harden and Embiid pick and rolls anymore. And we're gonna get into some film in a second on how they're defending that, but I think that's really kind of changed the series, and those matchups they've kept, and credit to them, they've really kept the defense on Harden pretty airtight. Jimmy has spent more time on Maxey as a result of just not switching as well. And I just think that Jimmy has the foot speed and the length to kind of keep up and bother Maxey. I thought he missed a few easy ones yesterday that probably would have gotten him going. Miami dominating the rebounding battle kind of keeps them out of transition as well. The Miami's offense is functioning, so less running for Philadelphia, where I think Maxey just really gets going. All that stuff just in the aggregate. Kind of just,
there were a bunch of plays in transition where they just got out hustled. Philly got, Miami would outrun them or would send more guys would run back and make it even numbers, and Philly couldn't convert, and Miami did. On the and it would there was how many transition opportunities that Philly not take advantage of, and it would turn into an opportunity the other way or a max 3 or something like that. The one that I don't know if you have this clip, but it was the 2-on-2 with Maxey and Embiid.
No, I don't
in transition.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, that play that got shut down. They had a 2-on-2 and they couldn't get anything out of it. They got a turnover. Maxey misses the layup, and then it goes the other way. And I think it was a Maxey 3, Max Strus 3 on the other end. Like that kind of thing. Just you can't have that. Those are the margins in the playoffs. They're so slim. I keep pointing out that 50-50 ball that it was Maxey and Jimmy in transition, and Maxey just gave up on it, like not even like right by the half court line. Jimmy outworked them. They didn't want to fucking answer that punch to the face.
They absolutely did not. So I am fond of what they've done. I like the game plan. I think it's just generally worked, and I don't know what other cards Doc Rivers has to play. Franky, you mentioned the transition game. Miami forced Philadelphia into a lower transition offensive rating than their half-court offensive rating. I believe it was 77-76, which is just abysmal. I mean, Miami just really stunted Philadelphia in general, which is just huge for them. I mean, their defense is what was always going to win games for them. They shot about their season average from 3, so it's not like too crazy. I do believe that their shot quality was a little lower than normal. And again, part of that is just Oladipo and Jimmy taking more 3s, so the expected field goal percentage on those is not going to look good, although Jimmy's shooting 37% in the playoffs this season. Not that I want him to take a ton, but it's looking good for Jimmy, especially just having that pull up in the kit. I know that you have clamored for that all season. You're just like, bro, just take them, just have it, just like be a threat, don't be a Ben Simmons. And when they count, it happens. Offenses look good, without Lowry at home. I should specify. I mean, at home they look good. So tomorrow will be a big test to see how they look on the road. But all in all, man, I think the game plan has been solid. I think Spo has coached a really wonderful series. I think credit to Doc as well. I know that Doc is going to get a lot of shit for the DeAndre thing, and he certainly should. But I don't really think there was a right answer there, although DeAndre was certainly the worst answer. We talked about on the other show the way that Doc would empty corners and run kind of seals for Embiid when Miami would front, and that was really effective. And I thought that was just a legitimately good coaching move. The way, and then Miami would counter, and it was a fun coaching battle. Doc's obviously not an idiot. He's just has his warts, so credit to him. We don't have a lot of time today. We have Mixed Bag tonight, by the way. Franky's coming on Mixed Bag. Tiff, Brian M, Franky G. It's going to be a fun episode of Mixed Bag at 9.
Don't forget
Siobhan's on as well. Oh, shit. We got a whole fucking crew. 9 p.m. Eastern time. About 30 minutes, so stay tuned after the podcast right here on twitch.tv/Miami Heat Beat. It's also on the pod feed, so if you can't make it, it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on the pod feed, but there's nothing like doing it live. You can be interactive. It's a great interactive kind of game show type feel to it. Franky, let's get to some clips here. I'm pretty excited to get into this. So let's talk about what happened in the game. And
I don't think you can play
I
this
think
team if you're on defense.
sorry, there's volume on some of these. I messed up. Okay, here we go. Let's just talk. Listen, I think the coolest thing about this game was just how Miami was able to defend. So here is pretty. Where'd Franky's camera go? Hold on, wait a second. I want Franky. There we go. There you are, Franky. How you doing, man?
There we go.
I'm sorry. Listen, it's been a pretty tough
All
day
right.
At work for me. There we go. Your
Let's
aspect
get
ratio
to
is
it.
fixed. All right, we're good. We're here. We're ready to break down some film. This is an interesting thing for me because Miami, and Franky, jump in whenever you want. Miami has switched every Embiid, Harden, or Embiid Maxey pick and roll this series. And it wasn't until late in game 4 where they stopped. And we talked about that last time and how that's kind of carried over. So I thought this was a good example. And that's why PJ Tucker has been on James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. Jimmy has been on him because you just want a little bit of size. You don't want like Gabe or Max to switch on to those guys. And those are just the natural pick and roll triggermen. So if we see here, Embiid's coming to screen. He's going to give the ball to Harden, who has PJ on him. Embiid's coming to screen. That's normally a switch. That's an automatic switch for Miami and has been all series. But as you see, PJ's going to go under the screen. Bam's going to stay in a drop to keep Embiid from kind of seal off Embiid. And Franky, the interesting part to me here is PJ's going to go under the screen. They're daring James Harden to shoot those jumpers. How did you feel about that in the moment?
Harden left
I
open,
love
finally
it, man.
found his three-point
James
stroke
Heron, he's
in game 4.
a notorious playoff choker. I don't want to play that foul game. You're going over the screen. You're going to consistently give him the lane. You're going to have, trust Oladipo, PJ, Jimmy, whoever's guarding him to recover and get back in front of him and not foul. James is great at using his body to trick the referees into thinking there's more contact than there actually is. And I don't want to play that game. That gets Philadelphia into good offense and to good defense. You get to set up your defense like that, and you get James. Let him see the ball go in the basket. Don't foul him. Make him hit shots. Make him hit shots. Don't let him live at the stripe, and see what he can do. And they dared him consistently. But you know the saying: role players don't play better at home than they do on the road.
I just think it's huge that Miami is going to dare Harden to do anything that he did in game 4 again.
Three-pointers in this series and shooting with
The
great
going
efficiency
under
from
the
downtown.
screen is fucking disrespectful. I mean, it's
Good.
James fucking Harden. And
He
they didn't
deserves
care.
the disrespect. He deserves.
He
that
deserves it.
disrespect.
He deserves it. So that's a great adjustment by Miami's defense. You saw in that clip there, they forced a brick. And really, when you don't switch that, you don't give Embiid an easy matchup. So normally you'd get PJ, and look what Philly does. Philly empties the corner. On that left corner, there's nobody there. So if Embiid is fronting PJ Tucker, there is no help to come from that strong side corner. Any help that comes is farther away. It gives Embiid more time to set up shop, and it gives Embiid truly, it's just max between him and the basket. And that's a win for Philly. But no, look, Bam immediately boxes out Embiid out there. You have 3 white shirts in the paint, ready to get a rebound. That's exactly what you want to see, and credit to Eric Spoelstra for that huge adjustment. Let's go to maybe, I think, our favorite play of the game. Look at Bam, one-on-one with Embiid. Nowhere to go. Let's take a look at all the people in the paint. You got Jimmy waiting to dig on the drive. You have Gabe Vincent there. You have PJ Tucker just totally cheating off the corner man, waiting for Embiid. They're loading up in the paint, and nowhere for Embiid to go. Really, Bam's harassing him. Max is coming in. Look, Jimmy's ready to come in. Just nowhere to go, and Bam gets a great block, forces the turnover. What more can you want?
Well, PJ was in the dunker spot was by the dunker spot because that's where Harden was. But yeah, besides that, absolutely great.
Harden blended into the background.
Yeah, you just faded to the side.
I thought it meant.
No, he defensively there. This is why I say weak side movement is so important because look at when Joel gets the ball. Obviously, there's not a lot of time left to run some good offense, but he catches the ball with 7 seconds left. There's enough time for them to do something. Everybody's standing around. He's isoing. all 5 white jerseys have an eye on Joel. And like you said, Jimmy's ready to help. PJ's ready to step up. Max is ready. Gabe's ready. They're all ready on a string, ready to react. Bam does a great job containing. Jimmy's dig definitely helps him pick up the dribble, not getting anything easy going to the basket. But
big time.
Just fantastic defense all night. And the last game and a half by Bam taking the responsibility to guard Embiid by himself on an island. And he's just been sensational. I know. Shout out to Embiid. He's hurt, playing through a lot of injuries. He's not. It's not because he's sad. It's because he didn't get the MVP, as the national media will tell you. Bam's just done a fantastic fucking job on it.
I want to talk about that for a second because to me, that is one of the most. The whole conversation on Embiid today is absolutely ridiculous. It's the whole thing he commented that he made yesterday was if I don't play, I'm soft. And if I play bad hurt, then I'm not good enough. And that is the biggest straw man I've ever heard because Jimmy missed a game with the knee. No one's calling Jimmy soft. Devin Booker missed how many games? Like 3 or 4 games with the hamstring. Nobody called Devin Booker soft. Chris Middleton is out for what looks like the whole second round and maybe part of the next round. Nobody called Chris Middleton soft. Robert Williams missed the first round of the playoffs. Pretty much.
He's out tonight, too.
He's out tonight. Nobody called Robert Williams soft because of the knee inflammation. You know, you have a fucking orbital fracture in your face, dude. Nobody's going to think you're soft. Like, that is a straw man constructed because the narrative flipped because Miami's defense has been so good, and you have what should have been maybe the defensive player of the year defending you. That's not... You know what I mean? And Embiid shot over 50% from the field, so it's not like Embiid was trash. A lot of it's Miami ball denial. It's Miami encouraging shots that they want by going under on Harden screens, by loading up in the paint, by doing stuff like that. I thought Embiid did a lot of damage on Dedmon, so you saw the difference between when Dedmon was guarding him. And I thought Mechanic did an admirable job. I thought Embiid had to work for everything. Embiid hit a couple tough jumpers. Embiid was finishing through contact. I thought Mechanic gave him good physical minutes that you want to be. And I even thought then it was, Embiid played well. So the idea that, but that wasn't the narrative a day ago. It was, oh my God, look at him. Oh, and he didn't win MVP. Yeah, warrior. And when he didn't win MVP, it was, oh, he's going to play so mad. You're going to see, oh, you upset him. Oh, Sixers and 6. So then all of a sudden you lose the game because you were frankly embarrassed. And then the narrative shifts. So if it's, Embiid has been a guy to make excuses his whole career. He was even saying before the MVP race was even voted on, he says, if I don't win, it's because y'all don't like me. And it's like,
that's fair.
It's stuff like,
That's fair.
like fucking, bro. It's like, what is that, bro? You're a grown ass man.
But I'm mostly pinning that on the media because they gave him that narrative. Like in the middle of the game, Charles Barkley is fucking saying he's sad. It's getting into his head and somebody's got to get him out of that.
That man's never looked happy on a basketball court.
Yeah,
except when he's fucking dancing with the cheerleaders because they win a game. He's he's such a front runner. I'm just sick of him, man. I don't like him. He's unlikable. He's like so unlikable,
Bozos.
huh?
Bozos, all of them.
He's a fucking bozo. So yeah, I don't know. That was annoying me. So let's get back to the film. This is a possession that I really liked here. So Harden, Philly's going to get into a double drag, which is basically just 2 ball screens in transition. So Embiid's going to, you see Embiid at the top here. Embiid's going to come down. He's going to set that second screen. PJ's on the ball here, and they're going to start switching stuff. So Gabe Vincent is Danny Green's man. He's going to come, boom. The Danny Green screen comes, and that's a switch for Miami. Not sure how much I like them switching that, but, it is. And I thought Gabe does a good job. Embiid kind of slips. Harden kind of fakes it. Gabe's on him, one-on-one. Again, let's look at the paint. Jimmy right there in the paint. Bam in the paint. Max ready to stunt. PJ ready to stunt. PJ's not even guarding his man. His man's Danny Green. Danny Green's in the corner. Maxey's Jimmy's man. Jimmy's like, I don't give a fuck. And all eyes on Harden. Harden's just dancing. Look at that. Defense set. Everyone has their feet set. No one's on their heels. Everyone's ready to go. And Gabe forces the step back. And those cool shots that were going in the other day aren't going in. And that's just an example of, Miami being very aware. I think Franky That's not an easy thing to do because Miami's switching some stuff but not other stuff. And on certain actions, they're switching stuff and not other stuff. The amount of IQ that it needs for players to kind of process all that in real game time. There were a couple of situations where they had to emergency switch because of a mistake and they were able to recover. And a great defense is never going to be mistake-free. A great defense is going to be able to work with the board that they're given, and they're going to make plays. And I thought that this is a team possession. You know, everyone is in their spot, ready to go. If Harden were to pass to one of these guys, they would have enough time to close out and recover because of the difficulty of the pass. It's not out of penetration, and nobody's doing it out of rotation. If Harden, look at the pass. If he passes, that's not an easy angle to Tobias in the corner because Max is shooting that gap. It's not an easy pass to Maxey because look at PJ. PJ's in the way of that pass and Jimmy's in the other way. And if that pass does get to him, Jimmy's going to be able to get there. Danny Green's not in a window to be passed to. You know, and even if Embiid screens and Danny cuts, like that's a lot of movement and that's a lot of time that you're eating. There's 15 on the clock. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Great possession by Miami. That's team defense.
I just want to note here, I think that kind of possession, you want to switch that early screen in transit, in like secondary transition right here. Because if you don't, you know, James got an angle going to a strong side, and he might have a lane to the bucket. So that's just about containment. That's probably why they choose to do so. And then, like you said, you know, it's easy for PJ to step up because they've been seeing how much they've been sending to the corner. And in the same corner, Jimmy can guard Danny Green and Maxey. They can pass the ball all they want to each other. It'll give PJ time to recover and help on somebody. So they really have no options. It's all about James, you know, doing his thing and Gabe being disciplined. First of all, Gabe needs to be disciplined there. They've done a really good job as a series, this whole series and this whole playoffs, because Trey is a foul baiter too, of just staying disciplined, not reaching, not gambling, not jumping and playing with these guys that like to initiate contact and get the whistle going. And Gabe's done a fantastic job on the ball. Look at his feet set, contest to the strong side without getting close enough to the body where James can throw a bow there and pretend he got hit.
So let's go through a couple of the last plays we have real quick here. I have this one labeled Drop Killa because, Franky, if you watch the Weird Off pregame show, Franky, Kenny, and I hold it down 30 minutes before every game. That's live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Miami Heat Beat. Franky, a lot of times my key to the game is attack the drop. It's Miami's best offense most of the time. And I thought this was a great example of it as Embiid flops into the fucking fifth row. But what we have here is Bam's going to cut. PJ's going to screen. I'm sorry. Bam's going to screen here. Did I have the right play? Yeah, okay. Max is going to come off the Jimmy action. Max going to curl. No handoff. That's typically a dribble handoff from Miami, and they don't run it, which, again, that's kind of like the thing that I'm talking about lately. And Bam's going to come screen here for Max. Look at Embiid. Embiid's up on the screen. Embiid's not DeAndre Jordan levels of dropped, but Embiid's pretty high up. But Embiid's still not going to step up and contest. Mac gets around. Maxey has just no resistance on that at all. And he's just, look at that. Look at the amount of space. Embiid's heels at the free throw line. You know, I know he has long arms, but Max gets that shot up before the contest comes out. And that's cash money. And that's really just Miami's offense in a nutshell. You're able to kind of leverage your shooting. And that's a great off-ball screen by Jimmy as well, kind of getting Max in motion, getting the defense trailing. Look at Maxey behind the play the whole time. And then again, after the Bam screen, just totally look how Maxey's just behind the screen as Max comes to set, which means that Embiid has to step up. And Bam already driving for offensive rebound position in case he misses. That's just typical Miami Heat basketball. Effective, easy. You love it.
Yeah, and great execution by them. The key is the Bam moving screen that they don't call there to clear out the angle.
That's the Draymond Green special.
Oh, yeah. No, but it starts with Udonis. Give him credit for the originator.
Kyle does a lot too.
Yeah, Kyle definitely does that a lot. But you see him leaning to the left, wipes out that screen. And if they run that earlier in the clock, you know, you get Joel to commit. You got Bam streaking inside for a dunk. So, like, it's just good action, and Duncan obviously had a lot of chemistry on the DHOs and the screen with Bam and
Max is more of a ball handler.
getting the ball to him. Max, yeah, but Max is more of a. I feel like Max is more of a threat because he also has the threat of the drive. He can get to the cup in two dribbles.
He's getting that pass too when that second man steps up. He's getting really good at that slip pass when Bam kind of going to the basket. So let's get to our last play here. And this is just something that I've talked about a ton. Whether it's Jimmy screening or Jimmy attacking smaller guys, it is Miami's one of the most effective things that Miami can do in the half court. And if there's a guy to be, Franky, I say a lot. Guards that hunt aren't as scary as wings that can hunt, because wings that can hunt beat you with size and strength, and guards have to do a lot more work to really beat that kind of hunt. So let's watch Jimmy here. Miami kind of get out and run in semi-transition, which I thought was another big part of the game, kind of Miami juicing their offense a little that way, kind of speeding it up, and getting these guys tired. A lot of things happen here, and this is Miami triggers their offense with 19 on the shot clock. Franky, we've talked about this a ton. That is so huge for them because before there would be 4 more seconds until any action starts. And I wanted to highlight this play because it's something we've talked about a lot, and I wanted the film to show it. Look how many bites at the apple Miami gets here. Dedmon's going to catch the ball here. He's going to look to drive, nothing. Wild pass. Max is kind of going to curl, kind of see if he can get anything. 12 on the clock. There's still time for something to happen, which I think is huge. Jimmy has the ball up top. They reset. Now Max is going to screen. Oh, boy. It's Tyrese Maxey switched on to him in a drop. Look at that. Get some easy spin move, no resistance, and be just nowhere on the help. That's what you love to see. Look at that again. Let's look. Maxey's going to come up. You get him on the switch. Max does a good job screening. Embiid can't even get in the play because Jimmy spins away from him. And that's too small. That's easy money. Franky, you can't beat that. That's how they got to the finals, off plays like that.
Yeah. No, and I think the adjustment for Philly that next game, especially if the screen is that low, if it's not a high screen with getting Maxey involved, you try to have him show a little bit higher because you give Jimmy that one extra step to create the angle he wants to force Maxey to react and play off of Jimmy instead of Maxey setting the tone. So I expect to see that kind of adjustment from them. Normally you see that on the higher screens. Like you've talked a lot about how they've gone back to Hero hedging and showing on screens when they try to get him involved in pick and roll on defense. But I expect Philly to counter with that. But yeah, it's so fucking crucial for the Miami Heat offense to run to get into their sets early. Because as we saw last year, when you get into their sets with 14 seconds left, they blow out the first action. You don't have time for the second and third. You only got time for the second. And then most of the time that's ending with a contested shot with less than 5 seconds.
Seconds are so valuable, especially for a team without like a Kevin Durant or, you know what I mean? Like a guy who could just manufacture.
Even get a shot.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They don't have that. And I think Jimmy's the closest thing to that, but Jimmy needs to work, right? Jimmy needs to kind of set his own plate. So credit to them. Like we said, they that last action started with 11 on the shot clock. That's just enough for them to get something out of it. So just good stuff all around from the Heat. I don't really know what the counter is from Rivers. I think the one thing that they can do is have Harden trigger a little earlier while Miami's kind of fronting or doing their little Embiid defense. They can have Harden go a little earlier. I don't think Philly has done a good job the last 2 games, especially 2.5 games, really, of forcing Miami rotations. It's a lot of Harden ISOing and then stepping back. It's not a lot of kind of getting into the paint, forcing that corner man to come in and kind of force that. That's where Miami's defense can sometimes be a little bit exposed, but they need that downhill juice. Miami's doing a good job of building a wall, and Harden, we've talked about that a ton, but I do think that the one thing they could do is while Miami's kind of more occupied with sending help at Embiid, Harden can kind of go a little quicker, kind of do some fakes, some decoys. I thought in game 3, they did some of that with kind of Danny Green emptying the corner, but then coming back to it. So little things like that they could do, but really I think that, Franky, we kind of know what both teams got, and I think Miami for the last 2 games has looked like the better team. Now, if the Heat go into Philadelphia and can't buy on 3 again, that's going to be a really tough time for them. But, you got to hope that their threes fall. But, yeah, any last words kind of going into a possible Game 6 closeout if you're the Heat?
I think to solve the fronting, Joel's got to do a better job sealing Bam there, and they got to look to reverse the ball and try there. I would try to move Harden on the other side instead of being the one who's making the fronting pass over the front.
Do you think it should be Maxey?
Yeah, put Maxey there. Then you reverse the ball, and now you have Harden. If he needs to take more space, he can shoot from there from deep, and then you can just go there. He can if Joel seals, Harden can rifle that in. If the weak side guy skips over too much, he's got the pass to the corner. But Miami's aware of all this. I'm sure they're gonna do their best to execute. It's all about execution at this point. Everyone. Both teams know each other already. There's going to be minor adjustments here and there with the lineups, tinkering, but for the most part, as a whole, these teams are who they are. They know each other, and now it's all about execution.
So we'll see. We'll see what Doc got cooking up for Game 6. Shout out to what's the guy's name?
He ain't cooking.
Is
He
it
cooking
Robert?
up nothing.
Is it Robert? What's the guy's name?
Yeah, it's Robert.
Yeah, shout out to Robert cooking up nothing. He truly a Heat fan legend. Lately, I will not be going to Philadelphia tomorrow to Sage the Arena. Christian really tried to get me, but I got jobs. It's like, I go to my boss and go, hey man, how would you feel if I just didn't come to work tomorrow? He's like, but you're not coming to work Friday too. I go, yeah, and he's like, well, no, we need you. I can't find him. I was like, okay. So no Sage in Philly.
And I work from Philly.
Hopefully I'll make it. We'll see. Just exciting to play these games that matter. Hopefully next time we talk, we'll be previewing the Eastern Conference Finals. Frank and I will be with you tomorrow pregame though for Weird Alf pregame show, or the Where's Alf pregame show at this point. Tune in live 30 minutes before the game. Kenny, Frankie, and I will get you covered, and then of course Hangover Time. We have a couple fun surprises if they close this out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Episode 420, y'all get lit, baby.
Mixed bag.
10 minutes right here on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Minutos.
Let's go, baby. 420.